Thank you very much for doing this, by the way.
No problem. I don't mind at all.
Um, is it okay if we get started now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, very first question. What other cultures outside of the U.S. do you believe is the most similar to yours?
Outside of the U.S., do I think is most similar to mine? I have no idea. Where can you find super polite people in the world? Oh, okay. Well, there's different reasons. I wouldn't say anybody is like us in the South. I mean, exactly, but different cultures have different aspects. For example, like in Japanese culture, they are also very extremely nice to strangers. You know, they bow to everyone, and if you're invited into a home, you're treated like an absolute king or queen. So, like, there's specific traits that be seen in other cultures, but I'm not sure that I know anybody that has a lot of the same things that we do.
Okay. Thank you. Is it okay if we go to the second question?
Sure.
Okay. What problems do you continuously see within your culture, that being domestic, foreign, or any sort of problem? Like any problem in your culture?
In my culture, obesity. Honestly, it's a huge problem where I'm from. And like I told you, one of our characteristics is that we love some fried food. So
I can understand that.
yeah, it's detrimental. So in the past, people did lots of hard labor and lots of physical work, and now that's not happening so much. So obesity is a serious problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Here's the third question. Um, what are things about your culture that you wish were changed?
Um, there's a lot of, although people can be very nice, there's a lot of narrow-mindedness in the South, and it makes when you've traveled the world and you've seen lots of different cultures, and then you come back, it makes it difficult to see that people can't open their minds to a certain topic or a certain idea. They're very narrow-minded.
It's very conservative over in the
Absolutely.
South, isn't it? Is
Yes.
that one?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Here is the fourth question. How much has your culture evolved with time?
Well, we're moving up in the world. Oklahoma is, specifically in the South, Oklahoma is where I'm from. And it used to be that there were no casinos in Oklahoma that were not on Native American reservations. It used to be that weed was illegal or marijuana was illegal to sell. Oklahoma was one of the last states, and tattoos even were not legal. So those things are something that Oklahoma has kind of changed their mind over the last couple of years. Also, you couldn't buy higher alcohol beer in Oklahoma. You had to go to another state to do it, um, and you couldn't buy beer after 2 a.m. So lots of those are rules that got changed probably, I would say, within the last 10 years. And I'm not sure that it's because we're moving with the times so much as people are upset that they can't do the same things in neighboring states. So I guess we are moving with the times then. So yeah, there's been quite a few changes.
Okay. Here is the fifth question. What are your culture's social norms?
Social norms. I mean, I think we covered probably a couple of them already. The idea that, you help anybody in need, you are like overly nice to people, even strangers. I can't think of any others. I mean, anybody is welcome kind of mentality, I think.
Okay. Thank you. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the sixth question. How are people who stray from your social norms treated? It's like anyone who doesn't like follow the social norms, how are they treated?
Like an outcast. It really is like if you're a black sheep, then you're a black sheep. Yeah, people will really kind of turn their back in a hurry if you go against popular common beliefs. If you don't believe in God, we shouldn't even play with you. You know what I mean? When we were kids, kind of thing.
Like even with the hospitality thing, if you don't like follow the social norms, you're still going to be outcasted, just like a hospitality.
People would be nice to your face, but then they would talk about you behind your back.
Oh, okay. That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So here's a rather simpler question. How does the South compare and contrast to the North?
Well, that's one of the big ideas that we were talking about. I think in the North, they're a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more, most cases, not all, of course, a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more accepting and tolerant of different viewpoints and ideas. And, people, from what I remember, people will talk to you, strangers will talk to you more in the South than they will in the North. So like that idea that, you help anybody in need. Yeah, that kind of idea.
Okay. Here is the eighth question. What untrue stereotypes does your culture have?
What, can you say that one again? What kind of stereotypes do we have?
Like, which stereotypes does your subculture have that are not true at all?
That everyone is a gun-toting maniac. That everybody rides with a shotgun in their pickup. Which is true in some cases, but I'm from the city, so a lot of people, they think just because I'm from the South, I grew up on a farm, and I did not, or that I do own guns and I do not, or that I will be very narrow-minded and I'm not.
Okay. Here is the ninth question. How much do you believe your culture affects the world?
Oh, good question. Like the world as a whole, I'm not sure that we have a huge impact.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Sorry?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that we have a huge impact on the world as a whole. I just don't see that. I do think that, gosh, I don't know. I do think that a lot of people kind of know about the South. But then, so I'm trying to think of my friends here in Germany. Like when I talk to them about what it means to be from the South, they have no idea. Like they've never heard of that before. So it makes me believe that we don't have a huge impact on the world as a whole. I would doubt anybody in China has had conversations about what it's like to be in the South, or things that they were talking about and knew what the South was like. Now that's a guess, but I don't know. I don't think we have a huge impact on the world as a whole, other than our oil, maybe.
So mostly just limited to the United States, basically?
Yeah, I would say definitely.
Okay. So here's the final question. How much has your subculture shaped you as a person?
Oh, hugely. Hugely. Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of it comes from my mom, who is not, she's actually from Canada, but she lived in Oklahoma, I don't know, the last 50 years of her life. She moved away from Canada when she was about 15 or something. So, and she adopted a lot of those Southern kind of culture things as well. So I don't know if it comes directly from her, or if it comes just from the South. So I do know that I am overly nice to strangers. I do know that I love me some fried foods. Although I do believe that people should have the right to own guns, I believe strongly in being like checking to make sure that you are in the right frame of mind to own a gun. And I'm way more open-minded than I would say many of the people in my state. But I am very hardworking. I am very honest. Those are things that I attribute to being from the South. I'm very honest. I'm very hardworking, and I will help somebody in need, no matter who they are. And if they come in my home, I'm going to treat them like a king, and I'm overly nice to strangers. I'll talk to anybody.
Okay, so that's all the questions.
Woohoo!
Thank you very much for this. You have no idea how much it means to me.
Well, I'm glad to help, as you know.
Like, without you, I would not have a project to turn in.
Oh, I'm so glad that I could help.